Hey guys, Apotheosis here again. Tomorrow is Halloween, and in that spirit, I decided to cosplay as. This is not Grey's Anatomy. It's supposed to be a Catherine cosplay. Sorry if it's not that spot on, but I'm actually here to talk to you about Mech Golem. There's a user on YouTube and a Loon player by the name of Fryndlyss, and he posted a video a couple days ago about this crazy damage coming out of a normal Loon. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about my theory crafting findings. I was able to put some interesting stuff together, and I think I might actually be able to use him on Ime, which I killed him using single target damage. And the crazy thing about this is it's an AoE ability. I did 1 million damage, so I want to talk to you about that. I think that could come in handy for tackling Ime when he releases later today. So what we want to look at is the scaling on his S2, 5.67 times your attack power. And just for reference, we're going to take a look at Reve, who's pretty well known for her AoE damage as a legendary Loon. Reve's, oh, this is the wrong Reve. It's maxed out. Reve's S3 does 1.99 times your attack power. Craziness that this is even in the game. So the trade-off is it's kamikaze. He throws himself and blows himself up, so he's dead afterwards. Instant kill. You can't avoid that damage. He will die, but there are some interesting things that you can pull off. Mana, his S2 grants an additional turn, so I was able to put that on him, and it reduces the channel time. It's 2 turn channel time. So Caroline, you give it to her and she uses it right away, right? Because she skips that channel turn. He reduces 1 turn from the channel time. Actually really handy. He also has an attack speed buff if you wanted to do some attack speed shenanigans. That would actually work. Next, I want to talk to you about Megid. So instant kill, right? Throw her res on him. When she gets a turn, he reses. Also would work with Miho and any resurrector like Fabian or the Uwas. I don't know how you pronounce that, UHWA. And then I have Trent here just because in PvP, you might want to protect him from AoE stuns depending on what the enemy team comp is. So you could manipulate your turn order to protect him from that by giving him immunity to those effects. Plus his passive. I mean, you could bring him just for his passive, and you're automatic. You don't even have to get the immunity off. You're protecting him just with Trent's passive. So I will show you first the 1 million damage team. And then I'll show you some PvP capabilities. Just one quick note that I actually forgot. This is magic damage. So it will be mitigated by magic defense like Weiwei's Bubble Tea. It will be increased by defense break and crit and crit power. Okay, we've done some damage in some previous videos in theory crafting with soul damage. Soul damage doesn't crit, so we weren't really able to utilize that. You'll see in my video, we're going to use crit and crit power. If you want to do more damage or change it up a little bit, use a defense break. So this is a theory crafting video. This is not an optimized strategy for actually attempting what's coming out. What I was doing here was trying to see how much damage I could pull off using that damage scaling on his S2. So it's a little bit different than an actual kill strategy. I brought 2 crit power buffers. We have Karu and Chimera. And my job right here is to get Karu's crit power because it's one that you need to stack. It goes up to 50% and you need to auto attack with the crit rate buff on you. So that's what she's doing right there. Instead of rolling cards. I'm just trying to get to that 50% crit power before I start rolling my card. I just want a max card to see how much damage. The other part where we're maximizing damage is by using the red phase instead of the blue because he has less magic defense. Pretty important to see what the damage capabilities are. So I think that's it. I should hit cap right there. That should have been 5 attacks. And then I also don't want to phase him into the next phase because then there's 2 of them. And then if I don't kill the guy with the high with the high magic defense, I only have 2 turns to kill him with no damage. So I think if we do want to one-shot Ime, you want to do it inside of this phase right here, depending on what the percentages are. And if it's even possible, because with the mechanics that they added with gaining soul or using soul, this might not even be possible to survive to get that much damage. But I just wanted to test it. And it turns out to be a lot of damage. I mean, 1 million on a single target. So so now we have the crit power buff on Kartia and the Golem. The Golem actually didn't really need it there. So 44k, I knew that that's not my cap, just because I know my Kartia pretty well. So my goal here is still to roll that card. My cap should be around 56k with her current stats here, but I took the 53k, I think I end up rolling later. It takes me a couple tries. This is the nature of Kartia. I don't know how familiar you guys are, but you're gonna roll low cards even with the controlled RNG. So there's the card that I want. So now my job is to set up the channel. I can start channeling. As Fryndlyss pointed out, you can buff it mid-channel and you're gonna get that full damage. So now I got the crit power buff because I want to crit. And I want to see how much damage it does at max crit power, which you can easily calculate if he doesn't crit, but just to demonstrate to you guys. Alright, so I rebuffed the attack power buff. Even with that debuff on us, we almost lost that ability to be able to give him that attack buff. So this is basically max juice with my setup. 76,000 attack power, 300% crit power, only 54% crit rate, but I made sure that this was a crit before I included it in this video. There's Wei stats. I mean, Wei Kartia. She lost the crit power buff from Chimera, so she's not at 300%, but she was. And this is after her self buff. And there you go. So you can't see whether it was a crit or you can't see the damage there because he died. But the good news is it doesn't stop at a phase. You can kill him from that phase. We'll see if it's the same on 11 and 12. And then the damage here, you can see in the report, he did 1,072,000 damage. So that is very good. And the scary thing is that that's one person. It's not split between enemies like Mikazuki. It's doing 1 million per target. So maybe usable on Trent or other bosses if we can get it to work, right? Again, this is a theory crafting video. And you can even scale the damage higher. So it would do 1 million per target. And you can scale the damage higher if the target had lower defense or if you break the enemy's defense or weaken magic defense. So thought my findings were pretty interesting. There's obviously a lot more theory crafting to do, and I can't wait for Ime to get released. It's actually later today. So I'm going to see what we can pull off. Maybe we can build a team that works in Ime and maybe even Trent, but we'll see. Okay, so I just want to demonstrate some of the capabilities of this in PvP. So you don't need to bring crazy amount of attack power because HP pools are so limited. Compared to a PvP scenario where you might want to bring a Kartia, and you can definitely get this off in your in your second round, so like your 7th turn. So what Mana does is he removes 1 turn from the channel time. It's a 2-turn channel, and then we need to buff the attack power. And just for reference, Reve's S3 does 1.99 damage scaling. This is 5.67, and it's going to do that 113,000 to everyone that's an enemy. Yeah, this should be pretty nuts. I can't imagine it doesn't go without getting hotfixed. So here, right here, we just turn swap in. This is the second turn in the channel. And bye bye enemy team. So the only thing that's gonna stop that is bubble tea. Now, I guess we can take him out, and we can see what happens now too. This is a little bit ridiculous as well. Well, I'll just put some speed up. There you go. You can res him. Insta kill. You can still res. Yeah. So this should be fun. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. I thought I read somewhere that they plan to delay the HP reduction, and then the patch notes that they released today said that HP is getting reduced in PvP. So we'll see if the HP gets reduced. I mean, Arsen's already gonna be a problem, but this could be a problem too. I don't know. Pretty crazy though.